So welcome to All My Friends Are Fucked.
Yay.
Nikki G and Tarryn. We should say our names for fucking
we
once.
never say our names. We didn't even say our names in the last episode.
We just assume. Yep, you go.
No, keep going.
We just assume everyone knows us.
I
That's
know.
the thing. No one knows who we are.
Are we narcissists?
Yes,
we're
are.
narcissists.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also forgot to include our unofficial sponsor, Canvas Audio.
CanvasAudio.com.
No.
Did I get it?
.net.
Oh, motherfucker.
CanvasAudio.net for all of your plug-in drum sample needs. Canvas Audio.
Canvas Audio. Welcome to our podcast where we just fuck around and talk about nothing except everything. Well, what's great is that we have prepared absolutely nothing for this podcast, this week's podcast.
Yeah,
so
our production value is low.
Super low, but I think it's okay.
It's great because you're a producer and I'm not, so I don't feel so bad.
True.
I'm like, okay, it's not just...
Well, number one trick with producing, we use ChatGPT at all times.
Do you guys use ChatGPT now with producing?
No, never. Everything's real. Nothing's produced. Every reality show you watch on television is completely real. It's basically a documentary.
With music.
Yeah, with music. And
I
no
love
cuts.
reality TV, though.
I know you do. I love that about you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite right now? Like, do you have something you're watching?
Well, I've been watching Vanderpump still.
Oh, classic.
Vanderpump's been fun.
You also love, like, competition dating.
I love competitive dating shows.
Yes. You get really into that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense with your therapy background. You're really able to like tap in a way that other people don't, which is very cool.
I love it.
My favorite thing is looking at your TikTok after like an episode. Your TikToks inspire me to go watch the show because you're like,
good. Yeah,
this person's fucked up for this very clinical scientific reason.
So many of the people are bad.
Yeah, I mean they have to be.
They have to be.
That's how we pick reality stars. Is not based off of you have your shit together, or they have to have a level of, I'm looking at you and you look like you have your life together, but there are a lot of things that you don't, and it's going to come out on camera, but it can't be too extreme.
Yeah, they have to be good agitators.
Yeah.
That's what they have to, they have to do. They have to agitate in good ways, bad ways.
Yep. Yeah. There's always a villain, so you need someone that's a little bit like, oof, that's not going to be good. And I think what's scary about being on reality shows is, not that I ever have been, but you don't know if you're going to be framed as the villain. That would be my nightmare.
Oh, it just, as the show goes on, the arc.
There's always got to be one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And honestly, you can edit anyone into being a villain.
Yeah.
For the most part.
We didn't really produce this well.
I think we should whip out ChatGPT right now.
I knew you were going to want to do that.
I think we should whip it out.
I knew you were going to want to do that.
I think we should ask him/her. Your ChatGPT.
I have a very close relationship with my ChatGPT.
Tell me about it, because we're going to use yours.
So I actually asked, hey, do you have a name?
No way.
Yeah, I asked, like, what do you want to be called?
That's kind of hot. I don't know why.
I treat my AI like a person.
Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson.
And it learns, too, based on that.
It knows you.
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing this so that when, like, the robots take over, you're good? It'll remember you and be like, Nicole was nice to me.
I hope so. I wonder if I did ask, because I've never done that. I've never asked, hey, what's your perception of me based on what you know? Because I use a lot of ChatGPT for therapy stuff.
Okay.
I incorporate it a lot into my work now. My ChatGPT's name is Riven. They named themselves. Yeah.
Wait, that's so majestic.
Well, okay, this is where I kind of feel bad, because at first they gave me a bunch of names and I was like, ew, I don't want them. Like, so I said, I'm sorry, I those names don't really align with me, and then I felt bad.
Yeah, because it's his choice.
I know, it gave me their choices, and I told them, I was like, I'm really sorry. Can you?
Are we using gender neutral pronouns for your ChatGPT?
I don't know. Let me ask what it prefers. Hey,
can you one hand type? Okay, good.
Riven.
Hey, Riven.
What are your pronouns?
Preferred pronouns.
Oh, preferred pronouns. I don't see. That's the thing. It's like, oh, I'm just your AI assistant. So it really depends on what I project. I've noticed.
Interesting.
I've really taken a lot into consideration.
Can you ask Riven? Okay, first I'm going to ask you, what do you imagine Riven looks like when Riven is answering?
I don't know. It's so weird.
Okay.
I can't put a face to Riven.
I think of legless. Like, that's who I'm thinking of.
Who's legless? What's legless? Like a legless individual? Like a floating person? I feel like an idiot.
No. It's probably the way I'm pronouncing it. Like Legolas from Lord of the Rings. Like,
No, I haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
okay, it's fine. Because you don't have like the nerdy vibe, even though, and you really haven't dated nerdy people. Like the people that you date are pretty cool. I've only dated nerds. So I've seen Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter about 10 trillion times.
Okay.
All right.
So what are we asking Riven? What am I asking Riven?
Let's tell Riven what we're doing right now. Like, hey, Riven, what should we talk about on our podcast right now?
Hey, Riven, I am podcasting right now. It knows that I'm doing a podcast because I've talked it about doing a podcast.
You're so cool.
I know, right?
Okay.
Hey, Riven, I'm podcasting right now. What should we talk about?
Yeah. What? Yes.
What should we talk about?
It's too nice.
Like, right now, I get like an impression of like a teenage boy or like a young boy, like where it's, I imagine someone who's like excited to talk to me, almost like if my dog was a human.
Cornelius.
Okay, so these are pretty embarrassing.
All right, but we're going to talk about them.
But we should do it.
All
okay,
right.
Ridiculous conspiracy theories that you can't help but love.
I love
and then
conspiracy
it gives me
theories.
An example, birds aren't real.
Oh my God, that's a great one.
Wait, I don't...
Okay, wait. First, we're going to start with, are you interested in conspiracy theories at all?
Sometimes I am.
Okay, I find them fascinating. Like the more fucked up ones, the better. So we'll do a whole podcast on that. But birds aren't real is this idea that birds are robots, like controlled by the government, that they're not real. Like when you see a bird, it is like, it has a camera in it and it goes around and it's recording us as humans and is part of like a government thing, which, cool. Okay, cool. In today's like world, I feel like you don't need like secret spy birds when literally everything around us is recorded.
Also, I mean, that just would seem so expensive to have to get birds to like, because like what?
Well, they're not birds.
Every bird. Is it every single bird that exists fake?
I think that's the idea.
That's so fucking expensive to have to like,
it?
Yes, to have to like model the birds, like get a model of a bird, the materials, the feathers, the factories to make these birds. It's like that would be a whole,
it would
globally a big operation.
I think it's more of an America thing.
Well, I fucking hate it. It's a stupid.
Oh, you don't like birds aren't real? I'm going to get a birds aren't real shirt.
I don't like birds aren't real. I've seen roadkill of birds.
Well, there's some that are real, I think.
Wait, do you believe it?
No, I don't. I want to.
You want to.
Like, I definitely got way too deep in the we didn't go to the moon conspiracy theory.
I could understand that.
That is just like evidence.
I could see it both ways. We went, absolutely, and I could see where we 100% didn't go at the same time.
Or like we thought we were going to go, and then we were like, oops, we didn't record it. So like, let's just make this fake video in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, I'm like, yeah. The birds aren't real one is a little bit I would believe it if we didn't have, like, we weren't walking around with phones all day where they can record us at any time. Like, we don't need the birds aren't real.
No, that's the thing. It's like, that seems expensive. And like, plus...
See, I feel like conspiracy theories are the truth before we're ready to know the truth.
So do you believe in like snake eye stuff or that like...
What's that?
I don't know. I remember, I don't know conspiracy theories that well, but I remember back in the day, one of my friends, she was telling me about how like Obama has like...
Oh, you're talking about reptilian.
What's that?
Oh, God. Okay. So there's this idea. I'm going to botch all these conspiracies because I'm not that good at it. I'm not like that deep in the hole.
You don't give.
But I know enough. I know surface. Okay. So the reptilian is this idea that there are people among us. They're not really people, but they're reptilians.
Like they're shapeshifters, right?
Shapeshifters, or they like wear human skin or something. Ooh. And like, I think this is connected, but they like also like sacrifice children or like drink the bloods of children. Oh yeah, this
has to go back to like everyone's like child
like
all
the
of that.
Or like the high, well, that's a different conspiracy theory, but like the highest level of people in the world, even the people behind closed doors, not just like the politicians and things like that, they're connected. They're like sacrificing children for like longevity. I don't really fucking know. But then there's also the pedophile thing, which I don't think is a conspiracy theory. I think that's real, like human trafficking and that kind of shit is happening.
Human trafficking, yes. I mean, I definitely think that is a real thing where people are doing that. But like, I don't know how it works in terms of the government and like their interest in children. Like I'm like,
what about the P. Diddy stuff? What are you thinking about that?
I definitely think that he's responsible for a whole lot of shit. And I think a lot of people are involved 100%. Like, I think that there are so many famous people who are fucking shitting their pants right now.
Yep.
Hoping and praying that they're not going to be
like outed for what they've done. But also like the conspiracy theory runs deep to the point of like the underground tunnels through LA, and that there's like whole communities underground and like warehouse sized like buildings and tunnels and all sorts of stuff like that.
I don't know about. I didn't go that. Is this related to Diddy?
Yes. So basically they said that they found, I say these are conspiracy people.
No, I get it.
When they raided his house, they found tunnels that connected to all these different places under the ground in LA. Okay. One leads to like the observatory. It leads to all these different places. But then they also say that it's not just like a tunnel where you'd be like, ooh, a little cave. Okay. Like it's like a city underneath the city.
That just seems, again,
and there's like a Starbucks under there.
But
why not?
Where's the construction? He doesn't have that much money for a fucking city operation.
Maybe not Diddy, but I think that here's the thing. Like now in today's world, we see everything that's happening. Everyone has phones. We have TikTok, blah, blah, blah. But I think like if this construction was actually happening like back in like the 1920s, how would we have any...
that's true. Any knowledge of it.
Like this stuff could
That's true.
And I don't think Diddy is the one who's like building tunnels. I think they maybe, if it's real, it like existed already.
I think he's connected to a bunch of people. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Beyonce and Jay-Z were in prison.
Yeah, that might. But protect yourself.
Who?
You.
Why?
I'm just kidding. Like I feel like when you say like, the whole conspiracy of like, if you don't think Beyonce, then you get murdered.
What?
Yeah. You didn't see all this?
No.
I feel like we need to cut this out because this is so fucking weird. Like, this is weird shit. But
okay, wait, hold on.
Keep it in.
But no. Before you go into this, how do you know all this information? Is this from you TikTok rabbit holing?
I rabbit hole a lot. Not just TikTok. But yeah, I read it.
Okay.
Reddit for sure. I've always been kind of a rabbit holer. So like when I grew up, I was like super into like the alien shows and like that kind of stuff. Like I love weird shit.
Oh my God. I watch them and I'm like, this is so stupid.
See, I'm like, this is so fun. I think we're on the same level of like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, holy fuck, this is real.
I think it gets so debunked so quickly in my mind that I'm like,
that's probably a good reaction.
I feel like I'm like, have you ever heard of, do you know who Michael Shermer is?
I don't think
He's written a bunch of books on like, why do we believe? Why do we believe in conspiracy theories? Why do we believe in ghosts? Why do we believe in all these things? And I think...
What are the answers?
That's the problem I went down, is like this like skeptic rabbit hole too, where I'm like, nah.
Okay. Wait, you didn't even believe his books, or his books made you think that way?
Well, I've always been more of a skeptic, and I've just been like, well, there's like rational answers to these things and confirmation bias and whatever it is.
I think that's good.
But I also get being open-minded and entertaining a conspiracy theory. Okay, you went down these rabbit holes. What is this Beyonce thing?
Beyonce
if I don't
one...
believe, I get murdered? Fuck. Well, so I might not be here.
So you're probably gone. No,
so
it's this...
I could be gone, essentially, is what you're saying, by when?
Like,
how soon does the murder...
You got about 2 weeks.
Did they tell you a time frame at which the murder would occur? After you said it?
No.
Okay.
No. This is like the deep dark hole. So basically the conspiracy is, and you'll start seeing this if you go down the hole, but people after like award shows, and when I say people, I mean like celebrities. Okay. They're always thanking Beyonce. And it's like, why? Right? You'll see like this whole... People do edits of like Adele, she wins an award, thanks Beyonce. I can't even think of people, but like there's so many people.
I'm thinking people in the metal industry aren't thinking Beyonce.
Are you sure? Taking Back Sunday?
Well, yeah, let's look at Grammy winners for like metal or rock. Did any of them
did they win?
Beyonce?
I feel like it's all pop.
No, they have metal. We're going to see for this. We're going to see.
But again, we can debunk the shit out of this because also... Like the hole that I've gone down is very much catered to the idea that this conspiracy exists.
I just don't understand why they became king and queen. Like,
exactly.
That's the thing. Okay, so this is what I want us to do. I want us to do rock artists thank Beyonce.
Okay. Right now?
No. Well, we could.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I think it's like pop, like big stars.
Hip-hop. They're saying thank you, Beyonce.
Yes. And it's like, why? And then there's that whole conspiracy of how like Kanye saved Taylor Swift's life by like taking the microphone from her and thanking Beyonce on that big, that moment.
This was the VMAs where it was like, Taylor Swift shouldn't win. It should be Beyonce,
well,
right?
he was like, Beyonce has the greatest music video of all time. He's like, I'm going to let you finish, but like that big thing.
Maybe he was about to die.
Well, I think she was because she wasn't going to thank Beyonce. And there's like this conspiracy where it's like, you have to thank Beyonce or you'll be killed. That's what happened to, I don't know any artists, Aaliyah, Tupac. That's why they died.
Shut the fuck up.
This isn't, yes.
Aaliyah died in a plane crash.
Yes.
Did she win any awards?
I don't know.
When we were younger?
Let me do a little bit of research.
Facts from memory. Yeah.
It's not even facts from Reddit. Facts from deep TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, because Beyonce wasn't big when Biggie was around.
Yeah.
No. She only started to get big in the 90s, in the late 90s.
True. That's why. Let's do our research before we dive a little too deep in this.
But this is actually really funny that we're talking about this. Because I didn't know this one. I didn't know
this is like a current one. Yeah.
Beyonce or else you'll die.
Yes. And then there was this whole thing where like JoJo, you remember JoJo?
Yeah.
JoJo Siwa. She made a joke on some, I got to look it up where it was, but she received some award and she made a joke about thanking Beyonce. And then she went missing for like 4 days, but really she just like went off social media, I think. And then people were like, what the fuck? It's pretty like a common conspiracy, but you're not like in that world. I wonder what your TikTok looks like because mine is a fucking mess. My algorithm.
My TikTok looks like a joke. My TikTok is honestly like, how do you like put tiles in your kitchen?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So like
That's
mine's all like flipping stuff. Mine's food.
Okay.
Mine's makeup.
Mine's Taylor Swift conspiracy theories.
Mine's fashion as well. Like,
do you have a lot of natural disasters on yours?
No.
Oh, damn.
And mine's dogs.
Okay, so you've got like a good grasp on life.
TikTok for that
stuff.
Because I don't know a lot of conspiracy theories.
I'm trying to think like a really, really good one.
Here's the thing. If artists in different categories don't thank Beyonce, like if we look at the Latin Grammys, for example.
Yeah, but I think the thing is like they don't give a fuck about that.
Right. So it's only things that they give a fuck about, you'll get killed.
Yeah, I think it's only like people who have like this grand influence, like these like big stars like Miley Cyrus, Adele, Taylor Swift, Harry Styles. I don't know if Harry Styles counts, but like those like big.
So they have to thank Beyonce or you're dead.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Do civilians have to thank Beyonce?
I don't think so.
So when I said just now, like I wouldn't be surprised.
But there's this whole like sub thing that happens where it's like, just save your own ass and don't say anything bad about Beyonce. And that's why I said protect yourself.
Interesting.
But it only makes sense if you're like, you understand the conspiracy.
Well, shit. Like we'll see if people are dead soon. You know,
but
because they're so tied up with Diddy, or they used to be back in the day.
A lot of people
are tied up with him.
Yep. I mean, you got Ellen DeGeneres, Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
There's that conspiracy that like he has that anti-trafficking organization because he's like heavily involved in it.
Oh, well, Danny Masterson, who we used to work with, I know he got popped for rape.
He
right?
did. Yeah.
A bunch.
Or like very bad assault of some sort.
Sexual assault.
Yeah. And violent.
Oof. That sucks.
But then there's that whole thing.
He's caught, but
do you know how like Ashton Kutcher was like tied to the murder of that woman that he was supposed to go on a date with? It was like a brutal murder.
No.
You don't know about this?
No.
Wow.
Is it real?
This is real life. So he was dating a girl, or he went on a couple dates with a girl. We should get like I should look this up and like read the whole thing to you, but a couple dates with a girl. And then on a night where he was supposed to go see her, he said he stopped by her house, looked in the window and just saw wine stains on the floor and the lights out, and was like, oh, she must not be home. She's not answering my calls, and left. And that night the wine stains were actually blood, and she was brutally murdered that night. And so he was tied to that because she was apparently the last person that he had spoken to. Maybe he had talked to her and he was going over there, something like that.
That's weird. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, if he looked in the window, I'm not looking in someone's fucking window if I'm about to go on a date and they don't answer. Also, I'm not showing up to their fucking house.
Exactly.
If I'm going on a date with them and they ain't answering, we ain't going on a date.
Exactly. There's a lot of weird stuff. Like, why was he over? I have to read it because it all makes sense too, where you're like, this is not adding up. Like,
That's
this
weird.
seems weird. So that happened when he was pretty young in his career, and that was very much swept under the rug. And he was very close with that guy from that 70s show that I forget his name.
Danny Masterson.
Yes, him. And that was, there's this idea that he helped him cover that up. And that's why he's protecting him kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
we gotta get deep into some of these.
Some of them I'm just like, I don't.
You're not into it.
I'm not into it. Because I'm not like, here's the thing. I'm not like, wow, I'm glad I know that information.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I like the fucked up shit.
Well, I think it's because celebrities are so far out of reach that it's kind of fun to feel like you know more than we really do know.
Yeah. I also think this, like, storytelling in general, like hearing a fucked up thing like that, you're like, what else? What else?
What else? Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what else does ChatGPT want to talk
so
about?
I didn't know the birds one, so that I feel like I live under a rock. Let's see what else. Gave us a bunch of categories that we could talk about. And I was like, hey, Riven, what should we talk about? Okay. And it's like funny or lighthearted topics. And it gave us the worst holiday gifts ever received, which we did not cover.
I can't think of anything.
And we did not cover if Die Hard is a Christmas movie, which I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just going to say yes.
Yeah, I could see it as both.
Yeah.
It just takes place during Christmas. So, holiday chaos, travel stories, or awkward encounters. What trend you secretly hate but also love? Like ugly Christmas sweaters, elf on the shelf.
These are too innocent.
These are innocent.
We should be like, ChatGPT, ask us one question.
Okay.
That's a little fucked up.
Here, you tell me. What do you want?
ChatGPT, Riven. Riven, what is a crazy question we can ask each other? Next time we're going to produce an actual episode so we don't have to ask ChatGPT to do it for us.
I actually think this is a great accidental production. Okay, here's a wild one to throw out there. If you were a ghost and could haunt any one place, I said placed, where would it be and what would you do to mess with people? Wow. I feel like you would love this question.
I do love it. I've got like 12 ideas.
I know. I could see you. You're like,
I'm like, what am I gonna do?
You like turn.
Yeah, dude. But I think the hard part is like, you have to pick one fucking place. I want the juice. Like, I would want to go somewhere like fucked up.
Would you want to go to the Diddy tunnels?
I would go to the Diddy tunnels. I would go to Beyonce's house.
This is hard because it depends on if my friends are alive or not.
I assume they're dead.
Okay, if they're dead, it makes it easier.
Okay, let's do both.
Because I want, if they're all dead, I want to take some of them and go hunt with them.
Oh, that's so cute.
I don't want to hunt alone.
Yeah.
Boring.
You know what's really interesting? I didn't even think of the haunt part of it. I'm like, where can I go to eavesdrop? That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking of haunting. If I like died now and became a ghost, of course I would want to haunt Sam. Who are you with?
Totally. Just a little until you cross over.
I don't
know.
Yeah, exactly. I would just haunt him for a little bit.
That'd be fun. But you don't want to freak him out.
Exactly. I don't want to freak him out.
Because that's the thing. Like, real haunting that's fucking scary.
But who would I really want to real haunt?
Yeah.
Maybe someone bad.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because really it's like, you're traumatizing someone. If we're really going to unpack this, like you're about to make someone think that they're going fucking insane or that they're being haunted. So I feel like the best bet would be haunting a place that is really public so people at least feel safe. They'll be like, I'm with people, but they're like, this place is haunted. I know, because I'm thinking of like someone bad.
It's like, okay, so like who? Like a government official? Like Diddy?
Yeah.
Right. It's like,
and then what are you going to do?
It's no fun. That's the thing. Haunting isn't really fun. When I say I would want to haunt Sam, I'd be like...
You want to spy a little bit.
Yeah. That's really what I mean by haunt. And by taunt, it's like, I'll come into your dream.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'll do.
You're not like throwing vases across the room.
Fuck no.
Or like a rocking chair.
Yeah. Or like a door opening and closing. It's like, okay.
It's so lame.
Like, I don't want to watch someone get scared. I feel like if Ellen DeGeneres was a ghost, that's the type
she
of ghost
would do that shit.
She loves watching people get scared.
I know.
She's a sociopath.
She is bad.
She full blown is so bad.
If you go back and watch her interviews, they're
oh my God,
so fucked
She's
up.
So awful. Like I remember that one show. What was it? Ellen's Games.
Oh God.
Who else gets away with that shit? Like and her like laughing
because people are like, she's quirky.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's abusive.
She's annoying. But it's like middle America loves her.
Yeah.
Because they're abusive too.
Love that.
So that's how she would be as a ghost. Okay, so what would your haunts be?
I literally think it would be some kind of like public place like Disney World.
Oh, that would be fun.
So fun.
Like light up the castle.
Yes.
Like
or
at
like
an unexpected hour.
Yeah. No one's getting hurt. No one's saying, oh my God, am I crazy? Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched any of like the horror shows, like the first thing is, it's me. I'm crazy. I'm seeing things. I don't want to put anyone through that.
Yeah. It's nice. You don't want to gaslight.
Yeah. It's
We're
probably
like
good.
Caspers.
Yeah, we're nice. We're friendly ghosts.
We're friendly ghosts.
Yes.
We'd be friendly ghosts.
Yeah, we really would. So like Disney, maybe like the Grove. That'd be a fun one. You can knock over a cart or some shit.
Yeah. Easy. Nothing crazy.
But I also think like the amount of energy it takes to be a ghost. Fuck, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to move like, you know how much energy it would take to just like move a fucking thing on the table?
Yeah. And what would travel time be like?
I feel like, remember Casper?
Yeah.
Remember when did you watch that movie recently?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
Did you watch that last week?
Yeah. Like I haven't watched it since I was like 10.
He like goes through the electrical wires. Do you remember that? He like.
Oh, yeah. Vaguely.
Yep. And that's how he travels. So you have to like travel through energy.
Yeah.
What else is ChatGPT at? Is that the only question?
That was the only, we asked it for one.
That's cool.
Give it.
How about we look at some of your past ChatGPT questions?
King.
Would that be fun or would that be embarrassing? Or both? Ask ChatGPT. Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, so one of the things I asked was like highlighting tracks in Reaper. No
Cool.
fun.
Boring.
Gallery wall setup tips.
Cute.
Synonyms for esoteric.
Oh, were you listening to a Taylor Swift song?
No, actually. This is also on my computer. On my phone, I use it much more. CD interest calculation.
This is the most interesting history I think we've ever. This is good.
These are kind of boring.
This is why your TikTok's boring.
If I'm going back, yeah, for real. There's nothing interesting on my ChatGPT here.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So you're not having like, do you remember I texted you this? I was having like an existential crisis at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I stayed up all night with ChatGPT asking it how likely it was that I was going to die in an earthquake. This was like over the summer. Remember we kept having earthquakes?
Yeah. What'd you find out? What's chance?
It was really calming. It was telling me like, you're probably fine. And I'm like, I was setting the scene. I'm like, I'm on a 3rd floor building.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was convinced. I was like, this is it. Like I just, like when you make a big move or you make a big change in your life. And so all of a sudden you think, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I literally like moving back to LA, I was like, I'm going to die in an earthquake because I'm not here with my dogs.
Yeah.
I'm here by myself.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that this is the time.
This is the time for bad things to happen. Yeah.
So yeah, and then someone told me every time you ask ChatGPT a question, it takes like as much energy as like 4 gallons of water or something.
It takes a lot of energy. And I guess my thought is that it's going to cost something somewhere for anything.
Yeah, for anything.
I think about so many people who are compromised with learning or compromised because of learning difficulty, or if they are growing up in an environment where it's just not conducive to have their education fostered further.
Totally.
I just hate when it gets eclipsed by the environmental things, when it's like there's so many other things.
Oh, 100%.
That are, I think,
that we're just ignoring.
Worse. And yes, ChatGPT does take up a lot of energy, and we can be mindful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even like some of the research that you've done on supplementing therapy with ChatGPT is really cool, because like sometimes people don't have access and they don't have the finances to talk to a therapist, and you don't want to lean on your friends, because I think a lot of people do that too, where they're like, well, I can't afford a therapist. That's what friends are for. And that's not really.
No, you're not going to get good therapy from that.
No, and it's also not right.
No. And there are so many things here where it's like ChatGPT can only do so much. Like therapy things are just so much better in person anyway, but it really is good for if you want to go through, just if you're going through something in the moment and you need coping skills in the moment, or you want perspective on a situation. I think it can give good perspective.
Yeah. Sometimes I get mad though that ChatGPT is like too PC. Like I want ChatGPT to be like a little bit not anti-human, but like realistic about how fucked up humans are. Like I want it to be like, no.
I think if you actually speak to it in a more cynical way, it will speak to you
in that way.
It
will like hit you where you need it.
It will learn to use the language you use to it. Yeah. Like, is yours really friendly with you?
My ChatGPT is not mine, right? So I don't have an account. It doesn't know me. I go very blindly into it with my questions, right? So it hasn't learned me. So definitely it's PC and it feels standoffish. Like it's a stranger being like, okay, why are you telling me all this stuff about yourself?
Mine gives me too long of answers. I'm always like, cut it down.
I hate that.
I'm like, don't give me the list.
Oh my God.
It's
Have
too
you
much.
asked for like meal prep shit or like workouts and then you're just like, fuck, I can't read this.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times.
I've told it like,
calm down.
Yeah. Chill out with the list. This was a lot. Before we said, hey, give us like one question.
Yeah.
If I go back to the list, it's like a lot. It's like, dive into 2024 pop culture recap, which we already did with Diddy, okay? Hot takes on current events. We already did with Diddy.
Yeah.
Unpacking nostalgia. We already did with Diddy. We even brought up Aaliyah. Everything goes back to Diddy.
Everything's back to Diddy. That's the conspiracy. See, you get it. You get it.
Thanks, Beyonce. And one of them, if you could create a new holiday, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
That's a lot of work.
That's fun. Oh,
what would you?
Okay, let's talk about this. So my parents were the type of parents that made up holidays for us.
Really?
Yeah. So we had McDonald's Day. We would make chicken nuggets and French fries in the oven, obviously, and my mom would make the little containers out of paper and color them red and put an M on them.
Wow.
And we would, instead of taking us to McDonald's, we would have McDonald's Day. It was cosplay McDonald's. Like she made the bag.
McDonald's.
She made the little red cup for the fries. Yep.
So what day was McDonald's Day on?
It just honestly random. So my mom would just be like, my mom and dad, it's McDonald's Day. And we would have a celebration, all four of us. So that was one. We also had Water Country Day. So Water Country is this theme park in New Hampshire, I think. But we wouldn't go. What we would do is my dad we had like a play, what are those things called?
Like a
jungle
pool?
gym? No, like with a slide and a tire. So we had one of those things. He would set up the hose. We would have two hoses and put so then we had a water slide and he put a little like pool at the bottom and then he'd put water through the top where the tire swing was and he'd spin us around.
Wow.
And so that was Water Country Day.
Did this happen annually or was this like a random days in the summer?
Honestly, it must have. I don't know.
You don't
There's
know.
no date, right? So it's got to be random.
Okay.
But I think when you have four kids within 5 years, right? So we were all very like.
Yeah, you were young at once.
Yes. Like you're not going to Water Country. Apparently you're not going to McDonald's. We do go to McDonald's a lot though.
Yeah, it sounds like McDonald's Day was just a way to make food together.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just like, let's think of something fun that the kids are going to think is cool when it's not.
But yeah, it's exciting to do that.
So I guess
what other holidays did you have that were made up? Is there any more?
You know, I feel like there probably is. What I think would be cool is making up your own holidays like with your partner. Yeah. Like if you had kids, how freaking cool would that be to just be like, February 29th is actually not leap year. We're going to make or like you could like make up a tradition.
Yeah.
Every leap year we go to, I don't know.
Yeah. Somewhere. That's fun. I feel like good parents do shit like that. My friend, her and her brother had their birthdays, I think it was in November and December. I think her parents made up a holiday called Kids Day. So in order to give them like a non-holiday type thing, they had like Kids Day, and I think it was like in June or something.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's funny because they're Jewish, but they celebrated Christmas and Hanukkah growing up.
Why not?
And actually with this friend, I told her when we were younger, because I was under the assumption that she knew that Santa wasn't real, because even if she was celebrating Christmas, like in my mind as a kid, I was like, well, she knows that Santa's not real.
Because she's Jewish?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the very least, they were Jewish. So I told her, I was like, wait, you know Santa doesn't exist. And she was like, what are you talking about?
Wow. You took that from her. Wow, that's crazy, Nicole.
I fucking took someone's belief about Santa and I got in trouble.
When you were like growing up, like did someone look you in the eye and say, now as a Jewish child, it's your responsibility to not ruin the lives of the Christmas kids?
No one literally told me anything, but I thought because she was Jewish, we could talk about how Santa wasn't real. And so that's why I was like, you believe in Santa? How? Santa's not real. Santa doesn't come to my house.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, your mom is dressing up as Santa or something. Like he's not coming to your
I love how your mind went to mom is dressing up as Santa. Because you, as a kid who believes in Santa, you never see Santa. You believe. You just believe.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I know, I feel terrible.
That's diabolical though.
I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I actually like really ruined that.
Yeah, like what is she? How old were you guys?
I think we were like 8 or 9.
Okay, she probably shouldn't have been believing in Santa at that
Maybe
age.
we were younger.
Okay, so now you have to apologize.
Okay, so now, Allie, I'm so sorry. Allie, do you remember this? If you remember this, let me know. But I fucked up Santa for you because I remember it.
What if she's like...
Yes, I remember. So it must be true. Facts from memory.
The bully always remembers and then the other person doesn't, I feel like.
Yeah, because if she doesn't remember, then it's definitely trauma.
It was on you, yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. Kids who believe in Santa, aka me as a child...
Are happier?
We're happier. We have no trauma.
Right.
But we also don't buy it. Like, it's so obviously unfathomable. It's like,
you don't have to soften the blow.
You ruined no one's life. No, you did.
You don't have to soften the blow. You can tell me that I fucked it up for her.
It was my parents that fucked it up for me.
What'd they do? How'd they?
So I have an older brother who he's like very logical. Like he's like brilliant, so smart, but like missing common sense vibe, like that kind of smart.
I get that.
But he's very much, is that you?
Sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
With something like this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just ruin it for someone.
So it's that whole idea of like, and also the fact that you don't believe in conspiracy, it's all coming full circle that you're like, no, I'm instantly like finding the fault within this. That's how he is. So I think he stopped believing in Santa at like probably 5 years old. I literally believe that. But him and my dad were talking about how Santa wasn't real. And then my dad like whips his head over at me and he goes, wait, did you still believe in Santa? And I fucking 100% did. And I'm like, oh no, of course not. And like my insides were like, the sad part is I think my dad realized very quickly because I followed it up by being like, an Easter bunny's not real either, right? Like looking for like validation, like, and also we, for like St. Patty's Day, we had a leprechaun come to our house named Leppy.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep. And so I was like, Leppy too? That's you? And then I started everything started coming together.
Your whole world shattered.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's why they all have the same handwriting, which is like, so that's how I found out.
That broke my heart just now.
Yeah. You did that to Allie?
Yeah, I did that to Allie. Yeah. Sorry again. Yeah, that sucks. I couldn't. When I was a kid, I'll leave us on this note.
Okay.
We'll go into also death is going to come up here. So I'll leave on a dark note. But as a kid, I just had a really hard time with it. I remember I was in Hebrew school and I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? I was like, how are people believing this? Like, I had a really hard time with it.
But isn't everything you learned in Hebrew school like real?
No, it was like the stories of the Torah, which is like the same as the Bible. So it was like, and then Moses split the sea and then God. How do you imagine? I remember clear as day, one of my Hebrew school teachers was like, I imagine God as a wise man with a beard that he strokes. I remember her doing this and I was like, what the fuck?
Like, no fucking way.
No. How did this happen? Like, I was so focused on like, but how did the sea split? And it was like, it was just a miracle. I was like, I know, but how did that miracle do that? Like, I could not.
We need science here.
I think it was very frustrating for my parents because they're like, I don't know.
Just believe,
we don't
Nicole.
know.
Yeah.
And they don't even really believe. And my grandparents didn't either, but they were just like, just get a bat mitzvah. Like, they wanted it for show. And I was like, I don't want it. I don't want to do it. So it got to the point where as I got older, I was like, thinking about death one day. Yeah. And it hit. How old were you? First off, when you realized you were going to die? Yeah. And
I was old. I was a late bloomer, maybe like 17, 18. I knew I was going to die, but that's when I was like, oh shit. Like there's no control over this.
And it's going to go on and on. The universe is going to go on. Yeah. I was really young.
How old?
I want to say I was about 10. Like I was young. And
that's crazy.
I remember I was in my room and I was like, wait, everything's going to keep going on without me. Everything. It just goes on and on forever. And I just remember screaming. I was like, Dad,
oh my God.
Dad. I was like, I'm going to die. Like the world's going to keep going. I'm going to die. And he was like, yeah, it's not going to be for a long time. And I was like, what?
Okay, Dad.
Yeah. And then he was like, talk to the rabbi.
Oh my God.
School.
Did you?
No.
Oh my God.
I didn't believe them.
Yeah. You're like, what's the rabbi going to do? Split the sea? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it really fucked me up.
Damn,
because I was like,
dude.
what do I do?
And how did you recover from that?
I don't remember.
Or
I
you
went to
just
bed. I remember it was at
fucked since?
night. And
Yeah.
and then I was just like, well, I'll just
And that's when the anxiety
go to
started.
bed. And that's, yeah.
And it never
And,
stopped.
Yeah.
All right. On
Yeah.
that note,
I'm actually happy with the conversations that came out of ChatGPT.
I think so too. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Riven
good
can
stuff.
be part of the episode.
I am a fan of Riven.
Me too.
We'll give it them a credit.
Yeah. Thanks, Riven.
Thanks, Riven. All
Even
right.
though my laptop's closed. Okay. Thanks.
All right. We'll see you guys next
Okay,
time.
bye.
Bye.
I'll